right now over me. Take number 2. How's it going, everybody? And welcome to another episode of AddiBiotics Chat Over Coffee. This week we're interviewing an inspiring writer, Mr. Aiden Riley. You probably might remember Aiden from our very first food and travel episode of 2020. If you don't remember, we'll put a link in the description below. So today we're going to be interviewing how Aiden got into writing, what inspires him very much, and a couple of other questions along the way again. This is his reintroduction to the biotic universe. Before we get started, I want to take the time and say a big thank you to Josh and all the staff at the Playwright for allowing us to come here today and film today's episodes. All credits go to them as well. You need to follow them on Instagram, follow us and Aiden as well. You'll be amazed with what you're going to be seeing there as well. Let's get on with the interview. Aiden, thank you so much for taking the time out to join us, bro. Good. So, how is everything going for you so far?
Good. Just recently I've been accepted into university for next year to do creative writing, so it's looking good now. It's looking good.
It's an interesting course to hear. It's always interesting to find out like different course names, because when you hear medicine quite often, you hear law quite often, you hear accountancy quite often, but when you hear something that's out of the ballpark, creative writing, that always draws people's attention to it. That's why you want the most questions like, what made you get into that? What are you looking forward to doing in life? So it's always good to think out of the box. It's always good to take your own different path, because you don't have to be like everybody else at the end of the day. All these fingers are not lined up the same way, are they? So start off with the question. So how did you first find your love? Let's start again. 3, 2, 1. How did you first find your love for poetry and writing?
I wrote my first story when I was 11 years old. First day at secondary school. Teacher sat us down and she said to us, first thing I want you guys to do is I want you to write me a story. I mean, I loved it. I was in the zone. This is what I love to do. Majority of the class, they was all, why do you want us to write a story? But me, I was gleaming. I was smiling. I was up for it. And I can remember the story I came up with. And she looked really shocked, actually. I always remember her face. And the story I came up with is I went back in time and I brought the technology that was available in that present moment back to the moment when my granddad passed away. My mum was 14 when that happened. And I brought back the technology to rescue him. I was 11 years old, and the teacher looked at the paper and she looked at me and she went, "You wrote this?" And I went, "Yeah." That was the first story I've written. First story.
Congratulations. So you were a hero in the making, you from the age of 11.
11 years old, that was my first story.
Well, I'd shake your hand for that hero. That's good. You didn't need to wear no skin tight outfit. I'm going back in time now. Anyway.
Big S on my chest.
No big S on the chest. No big A. Look, yeah. A. I've got a plan to get done. I've got a story to write. Good.
Like podcast.
Yeah. What inspires you the most about poetry?
I think the poetry that I write is abstract. And what I love about poetry is, especially with abstract poetry, you can go anywhere and go do anything with it. There's no path. You know, you can assemble any sentence in any shape or form, and it's up to the reader to make what they want from it. You might not even think of anything, as long as you've had a decent experience of reading it. That's all that counts. I mean, I hope that people see something from my poetry, my random ramblings. But if you don't, then I'm still glad you've read it. You've read some of it yourself. And what picture did you get?
When I first started?
Yeah, when you read some of the rambles, when you read some of them, did you think, What are you talking about?
It's interesting to know because, like I said, as I mentioned, it's good thinking outside the box because you don't really have to be like everybody else. It's good. It makes you stand out from everybody else. And it's good. It's good. Where does an idea for a story come from? Personal experience. Isn't everything we write these days biographical?
I think every story that you read is in some form biographical. There's always yourself within the story. I mean, if you look at a lot of animations or a lot of well-known stories, there's always a slice of the inner self of that writer within the main character, or any character for that matter in the story, because that's what makes it easy to write the story. You are writing the story, but if you write about something that will involve yourself, it always makes it easier because you know what you will do in a certain situation. But if you completely make up a person altogether, it's going to be quite difficult, right? Because you don't know what that person will, you don't know the situation. If that person was in the situation that your main character is in, you won't know how they'll correct it. But if you only know yourself. If your main character was like you in the story, you know what they'll do in a certain situation. So it'll be a lot more easy for you to write. That's what I try and do.
Yeah, that's interesting. And where and how often do you get an idea for your writing?
To be honest, I don't know. Yeah, it could be anything. It could be at any time, anywhere. I could be walking anywhere and I could see something. It could be an object, it could be a person, a unique kind of person wearing unique kind of clothing, and that'll just form a character. And then you'll go on from there. It could be something I see on the news, or something that I read, or a status, or a news article. It could be anything. It could arrive at any time. So I don't really have a moment that I can predict that I'll realise an idea, because life's unexpected.
Of course, yeah. That's good. And what is the latest subject you're talking about? Do you wish to share it?
The latest subject I am speaking about. At the moment, I am writing a lot of shorts on my Instagram page, and the latest one I spoke of was it was about used to being addicted to drugs, and I was speaking about I tried to put myself in that situation and create a post on Instagram that would paint that kind of picture. A man talking about his former self when he used to be on drugs, but how he's come to adore his new self. That's my recent one. I don't know what I'm going to write about next.
Well, good luck with the next story as well. And one last question: what is your pastime?
My pastime: reading, watching films, gaining ideas.
So you know how to relax and everything.
I try to. My mind sometimes doesn't make me relax, because I could be laying in bed and then all of a sudden my mind will say, look, I've got this great idea, write it down. And I'm like, I don't want to write it down, I'm trying to sleep. But sometimes I have to write it down because my mind doesn't leave me alone. Always thinking.
Well, it's a good friend to have around, isn't it? And it's not going to let you down either.
Sometimes I don't like my own mind. But hopefully, I become well known sometimes thanks to it.
That's good. Well, good luck with everything. So thank you very much for taking the time out, Aiden, for joining us today. It's been an absolute pleasure.
No problem.
Good luck with everything as well. So, as today's message is, this week's message, find the inspiration for anything you want to do in life, whether it's writing, reading, or pursuing a business idea of your own. But get out there and get after it. Remember the 3 gets, as I said in last week's video? Get up, get out there, and get after it. And it will be easy as 1, 2, and 3. So until next time, stay biotic.